Here are some tips that will help you understand screen printing or pin design, printing processes. And as an artist, you need to set up your files correctly so that it can be printed easily. There are some terms that we should know, like separation, spot colors, screen print, screen and squeegee, screen printing, substrate, and then Illustrator, Pathfinder, or Union. Separations here, if you look on the left, there's a piece of artwork that's got some color and a black outline. But in screen printing, what they would do is they would separate those three colors. There's black, there's red, and there's gray. And they would separate them here, and they would actually export them onto film or some other type of material like that. And then the screen making process is a photographic process. So we have to be able to separate the artwork like this. You as an artist need to understand, okay, my artwork needs to be separated later on. I can't have like crazy gradients and photographs and stuff like that in a traditional screen printing setting. And pins, I'm sure the same way. It's very, very similar. There are many pieces of equipment used to screen print. Two of the main ones are the actual screen and then the squeegee that would go through, pushing the ink through these little tiny holes in the screen. It's a fun process. We won't be able to do it in class, but if you can, do it. Spot colors are a specifically mixed color for a job, and they would actually mix paint and approve it, and then they would print with that paint versus the traditional printing process, which uses tiny dots and then the CMYK colors. Screen printing is the actual process of pushing the ink through the screen onto a surface. It can be lots of surfaces, which we call a substrate. Right here, printable surfaces. There's many things, like you can do screen printing on, skateboards and t-shirts and hats and glass and all this sort of stuff. It's a very versatile printing process. Pins are going to be probably done with a different process, but the ideas of setting the artwork up is the same. In the end, you need to combine shapes to ensure color and shape accuracy during screen printing. Just good process to go through. So here's another piece of artwork that's been separated. Really cool sort of screen printed shirt here. These colors are printed with 3 screens. It's a black shirt or substrate, and then there's 3 separations. This one looks like it's the blue or teal. This one looks like it's the yellow. And then we have some white as well. So those separations, a printer would have to be able to do that with your work. So something to keep in mind when you're building your artwork. I want to take you through a sample. This logo was created for the middle school. And it looks great, right? All done? No. This artwork needs to be prepared for the printer. So there's a few things that, that I would do. The first thing that I would do is I'm going to go back to my presentation here. I would make sure that I only have like a limited number of colors. So 3 to 6 colors is pretty good. Sometimes there's only 1 color, 2 colors. Every time you add a color, the cost goes way up. So make sure that you're working with the appropriate amount of colors. 3 to 6 is a good range. So if I look back at my file, I have blue, I have orange, and then white would be maybe the shirt. So I really only have 2 colors here. And if I wanted to have white, that would be my 3rd color. Okay, the next tip is to convert fonts to outlines. Let's go through that. So I have words here, View Ridge, and then I have soccer. View Ridge is not a font anymore. It used to be. If I press Command Control Y, it's not a font. And I can tell because there's no line underneath it. And it's also not black. The word soccer, though, is a font. And the problem with that is I have a font on my computer. And that's the only place it is. I've downloaded it. I've put it there. But the printer doesn't have it. So if you gave this file to them, this would be all wrong. And they don't have the font. So you got to convert it. So I'm going to select that. Go to Type, and then go to Create Outlines. And that creates basically a shape. If I go Command Control Y again, you can see that it's changed. So that helps prevent a lot of errors. Next tip, expanding and trimming masks. So I'll show you a couple of examples here, not going to fully prepare this. There's a couple of things here that I would do. The first one I would do, so this banner right here is, I'm going to double click on this. This is made with a stroke, and I can see that right here. It's got a stroke on it. And if I was to, I'm going to make sure I have a preference here. I don't have scale, strokes, and effects on. So if I was to expand this and make it bigger, the stroke stays the same size, but the logo gets bigger. That's not going to look right. Or if I made it smaller, let's say, the stroke stays the same size. So that preference right there would dictate whether it works or not. But you can get around that by just making that outline a shape. And so that is found under Object Expand. So you hit expand. Sometimes it'll ask you, hey, what do you want to do here? Fill or stroke or both? Just hit OK and look at what it did. It made a shape out of it. It's not a stroke anymore, it's a shape. So that is very, very useful. Now if I expand it, if I make it bigger, you can see the stroke seems to be the same proportional size, whether it's big or small. So it's scaling, and that's what we want. The second thing to do is to expand a mask. If you do mask things, sometimes you need to do that. I have a little mask going right here. The word view ridge is being masked right here. If I double click, this bottom part is being masked. So to get rid of a mask, you could try expand. Expand appearance may be there. Expand will be there next, and it'll say, what do you want to do? But in my case, it didn't get rid of the mask. So there's another tool right here. Trim will get rid of a mask. And now that mask has been applied. You can see it's kind of cutting the bottom off to the text. Lastly, creating colors that are spot colors. You can do this at the beginning or the end. I would do it at the beginning so you don't have to, change things. But basically, I'm going to say I have three colors here. I have the shirt color, the orange, and the blue. And if I were to select the orange, I don't know where I got this color from. I'm not sure. It's definitely not this swatch panel. Maybe I got it from a photo or something like that. Maybe my shirt right here, I was like, oh, that's a cool color. But it's not here because it's not highlighting anything. So I need to make a spot color of this. So I'm going to select my orange. You can select all the orange. You can select one of the oranges. I'm just going to select all the orange because I want it all to be a spot color, and sometimes it doesn't work well. So I'm going to go to this little gadget here. This is going to select the same fill color. So the entire fill color through the whole document is selected. And then I'm going to press plus. And then here you get a choice of process color, which is basically your regular printing process, CMYK or RGB in this case, or you can make it a spot color. And I'm going to call this orange. And you don't have to change anything else, and hit OK. Spot colors look like this. In the swatches panel, they have this little tag right here. And if I was to select any of my orange, it is now that color. So it's not some mystery color. That saves the printer a lot of time. So I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to select my blue, select all. I would actually go through and fix all my artwork and make sure that I can select all my blue at the same time just to make sure. But for now, same thing. Plus, I'm going to call this blue and make it a spot color. And then finally, white. If you did want white to print, this right here is white. So I would make a new spot color that says this is the shirt color. And then the printer would know, oh, okay, that's the shirt color. We don't need to mix any ink for this job because that's just going to be a white shirt. Finally, I don't need any of these other colors. I'm going to delete a lot of this stuff. I'm going to select this whole folder, and hit the garbage can. Yes, get rid of it. Start cleaning house. Get rid of this stuff. It's just a default color panel that starts with your file. Get rid of everything that you don't need. You would send this file, and it's going to keep those little swatches with it to the printer, and this really simplifies the process. So those are some tips on how to prepare your artwork for printing, like a screen printing or a pin design. And if you do go to the next level, we will print a shirt for you, and you'll need to know how to prepare the artwork. The pin, if it was chosen, has to be ready to be printed because they could actually print the thing. So hopefully that helps, and your artwork is prepared for screen printing or pin design down the road.